Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by Full Sail University.
Today on Variant, we're talking Batmobiles. Welcome to Variant. We love comics just as much as I love being in front of all these Batmobiles. I'm your host, Arris. As you can see, we're at the Warner Brothers studio tour with all these Batmobiles, and we're actually going to talk to their tour guide to give you guys a chance to see what it's like to take the Warner Brothers studio tour. John, one of the awesome tour guides at the Warner Brothers Studio Tour. So there's lots of Batmobiles in here. But
right.
First, let's start with the first one, the 1989 Keaton Batmobile.
Let's do it.
So tell us a little bit about it.
So the first one, 1989, directed by Tim Burton, starring Michael Keaton as both, of course, Bruce Wayne and Batman. That was designed by Anton Furst. It was built in the UK, and the one that we have in here is one of three. The design of it is supposed to look like a Corvette Stingray, but also like Salt Flats Racers, incredibly aerodynamic vehicles. It's got a Chevy 350 small block in it, and it's got some really just kind of fun features. There's a story that goes that the first time they put Batman in the car and they went to close the canopy over him, that was the first time they'd ever done it, and so his ears got basically stuck in the canopy. So what they had to do was go back after and make an intentionally smaller cowl with shorter ears so that it would close around him no problem. I think my favorite feature, though, of the Keaton Batmobile is that only the originals have OnStar buttons in them. Yeah.
Nice. So is this the same one that was also used in Batman Returns, or was it a little changed for, I know it's somewhat the same.
Exactly.
Right.
Slight changes, essentially the same car, but when they made the different one for Batman Returns, they basically made the flamethrower in the back bigger, made it a little bit faster, but essentially the exact same car.
That's one of three. Do we know like the top speed or anything on that car? Like how functional it really is as far as the car?
The fact that it does have the Chevy 350, it means that theoretically the car could do probably 60, 70, 80 miles per hour. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it's a fiberglass body, they would never drive it that fast on set. Plus, they were typically zipping around back lots, so you only have a little bit of room. So on set, we're looking at a top speed of probably 25, 30 miles an hour, speeding up the film to make it look like it's going fast.
Very cool. And this particular one that's right there, was that the one used in the first Tim Burton Batman film, or Batman Returns, or both?
The one that we have in here is the very first one made for Batman.
Very cool. Now let's move along, because there's lots of Batmobiles. There's been lots of Batman movies. The next one we have in line is the Batman Forever Batmobile. So tell us a little bit about that one.
So the one that you see here was the design finished by Tim Flaherty. Originally, it was an H.R. Giger design, the guy who designed the spaceship from Alien. And the design that he ended up coming up with, they didn't think was really completely in tune with the theme of the film. So they took it over to Tim Flaherty. Tim Flaherty finished it. And the way that it looks, you see like the skeleton, but also the inner workings of the Batmobile. Mm-hmm. They had been researching two main things. One was deep sea creatures.
Okay.
Things that are really deep in the ocean that are bioluminescent. And the second thing was a bat itself.
Okay.
If you take a bat and you spread its wings and you shine a light through the back, you can see the skeleton of the bat through the fabric of its wings.
Very interesting.
So that's kind of how they got the idea. You can see the inner workings of the Batmobile through the body of the car itself.
One of the big things, like Batman's supposed to be stealth. It takes a while, the blue lights, but I guess that adds a little bit of, explanation to why it was designed that way.
Absolutely. Plus, with Joel Schumacher taking over Batman Forever, it was already a much more comic book feel. Mm-hmm. A lot more bright neon lights. It literally just kind of like jumped off of the screen. So it was a whole different take on the color scheme and how the movie physically looked.
Well, now, one thing that's always stood out with me with this, the Batman Forever Batmobile, is the wingspan, the fins in the back. So like, sometimes in the movie you'll see they're closed and then they separate. Is this one functional like that, or do they have two different ones where one's open and one's closed?
Good question. These ones do open, and it's supposed to be for aerodynamic purposes. I mean, of course, you open up the wings, you're gonna go faster.
For sure.
It's for aerodynamic purposes. The one in here does do it.
So going on again, Schumacher still has a Batman franchise at this point. We have the Batman and Robin Batmobile. Now you have it, it's not currently in here, but you do have the Bat Hammer and the two motorcycles. So tell us about those vehicles.
Sure. The Bat Hammer commonly gets mistaken for the Batwing, the plane. It's not. I always have to tell people, no, that's a snowmobile. So in Batman and Robin, Mr. Freeze, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, he freezes all of Gotham with his massive freeze ray gun, rendering a regular Batmobile totally useless. I mean, of all things, it's like the Batmobile can do everything, but drive on ice.
It can't go on ice.
No, it just can't do that. It's not going to happen. So in that case, what you do is you call on the Bat Hammer, which is like Batman's snowmobile. It's literally a snowmobile with a really cool bat plastic body over it with, again, those neon lights. The bikes, the silver one is Batgirl's Batblade, and then the red and blue one is Robin's Redbird. But what I can tell you about the Redbird is that it's a Honda prototype bike that didn't make it to the assembly line. It never made it to production, but it was designed by Honda. And Batgirl's Batblade is a drag bike. That's technically one of the fastest things in this entire display because it's a drag bike.
And now we're going into the Nolan trilogy, okay? The hugely successful, this is basically what brought Batman back to cinema after years after Batman and Robin. So we have the Tumblers back there, both of them. We have the camo one and we have the black one. Tell us a little bit about the Tumblers.
Okay, so the Tumblers. I get to use a word that I never ever get to use. Verisimilitude. That's the reality of the film. The verisimilitude of the Dark Knight trilogy is bigger than that of the Joel Schumacher ones. And that's everything Christopher Nolan does. His whole theory on everything is that he wants to do it as much based in reality as possible. So if you were a real vigilante fighting crime with limitless resources, limitless money, you would fight crime in something like the Tumbler, a military-grade vehicle. So the body of it, it's supposed to be a Lamborghini kind of combined with a tank or a Humvee, which gives it that really aerodynamic Lambo look.
Right.
But just the monstrosity that is the rest of it. It's got metal, wood paneling. It's got also fiberglass, so it's a little bit heavier. They road tested it at about 130 miles an hour, so it's a pretty serious thing.
Oh, wow.
Right? And what you see in here were only exterior driving shots. That's all that these ones were used for.
Okay.
The interior of what these look like is not what they look like in the film. That was a set. The interior of the Tumbler in the movies is a set.
Okay.
So these were used specifically for driving and not interior filming. They had one specifically just for him getting in and out of it. If you remember when he gets in and out, it's almost like it closes around him and pulls him in. They had to build one specifically for entrances and exits.
Okay, now correct me if I'm wrong, but the Tumbler is one of the Batmobiles that you guys have the most of, like there was the most made. How many Tumblers were made?
5. Legend has it, the original plans only called for 4, but they had enough leftovers to build a 5th. So they did.
Now, is there a difference between the camo and black besides the paint job, or?
That's basically, they look slightly different because technically the Tumbler, the black Tumbler, doesn't have the rocket launcher, but the camo one does.
Okay.
And if you remember, after Bane's gang kind of like, they take over the Wayne Armory and they get their hands on all the Tumblers, they're ripping around town just wreaking havoc, and the camo one has a rocket launcher on the side of it.
Now, one of the coolest things about the Tumbler is the fact that the Batpod comes out from the Tumbler, which you have the Batpod here. So tell us a little bit about the Batpod.
Batpod is so cool in the fact that a lot of times people see it and they just automatically assume like, oh, well, that's a prop that doesn't move. No, it's still a fully functioning motorcycle. And it, in real life, it doesn't come off of the Tumbler. That was a special thing done for the film. They built a special casing just so
would be cool, though.
It would be amazing. It's real. And they tell such cool stories about how the day the Tumbler was going to get blown up by the Joker on set of The Dark Knight, they said it was such a sad day because we had come to love the Tumbler so much. It was like a child to them. But they had to wreck it for the story. And when they finally do, with its dying breath, the Tumbler gives birth to the Batpod so that Batman can continue going out to fight, crime and fight for justice in Gotham.
And I've heard, rumor has it, the Batpod actually doesn't go very fast. Is that true?
That is very true. It's essentially a lawnmower engine, so you're looking at about 10, maybe less miles per hour on set. Yeah.
So not very fast at all.
Right.
But that brings us to the newest Batmobile that we haven't even seen in the movie yet. The Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Batmobile. Now, being in here, I love the Keaton Batmobile. That was my favorite up until, but this, it's just a good mixture, and in person, I just love it. So tell us about it.
So this is the new Batmobile, like we said, for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. It is designed by Patrick Tatopoulos, built by Dennis McCarthy, and it's 20 feet long, it's 12 feet wide in the back. It's got some new features that we've never seen on a Batmobile before, like the Gatling guns just sitting on the front of the Batmobile. Another one of the new features that we don't see in other Batmobiles is the fact that it raises for scenes where it's going into battle, and then it'll lower to the ground when it's just cruising through the streets, more aerodynamic. So it's a whole hydraulic system. One of the most impressive stats I think about this thing is that the tires are shaved down tractor tires. So it's like a 50-inch wheel in the back.
Holy crap.
Right?
That's insane.
Now, they made 2 of these. It's made out of carbon fiber and fiberglass, and it's pretty much completely custom made from the ground up. And the original idea, or the design of it, was they were inspired by the Michael Keaton Batmobile. So you can see it in there somewhere. But of course they had to have that really kind of modern tank look to it to fit with the feel of Batman v Superman. Now another cool thing, and you can see it on not only the Batmobile, but on the new Batsuit, is that you see how it's dinged up. This thing is worn.
Right.
And it's the same thing with Ben Affleck's Batsuit. It's got scrapes in it, the steel knuckles, everything, because this is a different kind of version of Batman where he's not just starting out as Batman. He's been Batman for a long time now. So this thing has seen some stuff.
It's seen its days.
Right? I love that.
Very cool. Now this one, like you said a little bit earlier, is one of two, meaning Ben Affleck was actually sitting in this very Batmobile.
Yes. These Batmobiles, unlike the Tumblers, these are camera ready on the interior.
Okay.
So the inside of this is exactly what you see in the movie as well. So the interior is the set.
Very cool. Now I've heard this thing through video and video online and YouTube and stuff like that. This thing is loud, that's online. So it's like a monster truck. So when they pulled it in here, because apparently I was told that this was literally drove right off the set when they were done with production and right here. So how loud is this thing?
Loud enough to have to do this. Ear piercing.
Well, now, how long is it gonna be here? Because the movie's not even out yet, and you guys have it here, but how long is it gonna be here for people to come see it?
Great question. As far as we know right now, it's gonna be here through the end of the year. So please, please, please come see us, because up until January 1st, 2016, we'll have this thing.
Very cool. So, John from Warner Brothers Studio Tour, the Batman v Superman Batmobile, all the other Batmobiles, come see it, especially if you want to see the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Batmobile, because it's only here till the end of the year. So come out and see it. John, thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you're watching this show, chances are you're into creating your own art, but have you considered enhancing your skills and making a career in 3D animation? Full Sail's computer animation program was designed to prepare you for a career in this exciting field by expanding your abilities as an artist and learning the latest tools, applications, and design theory used to create 3D content for different media. You'll not only be able to take your art in new directions, but also put your skills to work realizing and sometimes even improving the creative visions of others. On-campus students have access to Full Sail's motion capture studio. In this facility, you'll learn how to run a professional motion capture session as you direct the action of performers wearing a sensor-monitored bodysuit and use this data to create even more lifelike movements in your digital characters. All Full Sail students receive a laptop preloaded with industry software at a deep institutional discount. To learn more about this and all of Full Sail's programs and fields related to the entertainment and media industry, including art and design, filmmaking, recording arts, entertainment business, and many more, visit fullsail.edu/variant. First up for Wednesday, November 18th, we have Star Wars Darth Vader Down Issue 1. When Darth Vader accidentally finds himself facing off against the Rebel fleet on his own, the Rebels will learn the true strength of the dark side of the Force. Here we have Action Comics Issue 46. Once upon a time, the idea that Clark Kent could be corrupted would have been unthinkable, but now one villain is about to take advantage of his troubles. And finally, we have Batman Europa Issue 1. Superstar artist Jim Lee returns to the Dark Knight with this premiere issue. The impossible has happened, and Batman is on the verge of being taken down by an enemy he cannot defeat, a virus which there is no cure for, and the only hope for his salvation is the Joker. And that'll bring another episode of Variant to a close, but I want to say thank you to Warner Brothers and John for letting us in here to talk about all these awesome Batmobiles. But as always, you can like our Variant Facebook page to keep up with the show and all things comic related. You can also follow Variant on Twitter at Variant Comics or me on Twitter at Arris_Quinones. But I'll see you guys next week when I talk about all things comics. At Variant Comics on Twitter or follow me on Twitter, because that makes no sense. We're at Warner Brothers Studio, I can't say it, Warner Brothers Studio Tour Hollywood. Yeah.